What is up, everybody? The Titan Bros are back with a new video. It's gonna be our first predictions video for the channel of the two of us because I had some against the Giants and I said we're gonna beat the Giants by about 15, 20 points. That's kind of what threw me off the rails and why I quit making videos. Actually, the reason I quit making videos is because I could not get anything right. I made a video about like one of the first ones is JJ Watt. He was rumored to want to go to the Titans. I said, yeah, let's do it. We didn't do it. Glad we didn't. He's old. Then my next one, I think, was something about the fact that we hired Shane Browning and Todd Downing as our coordinators. I said, I'm okay with Todd Downing because he used to be a coordinator with the Raiders. Shane Bowen, our defense was garbage, so I hate that we got Shane Bowen. Turns out Shane Bowen was good. Todd Downing was not good. Then it was the prediction video against the Cardinals, and I was like, yeah, we'll beat the Cardinals by about 13 points. I think I said 20 to 33 or something. We got slaughtered by the Cardinals. And then my next video was about the fact that actually I had done one that we were going to be unstoppable with Julio Jones. Do you see how that went? And then I said that we'd beat the Giants bad. So every single time I made a video, I was wrong about everything in the video.
So what that means is that when me and my brother gets in debates or whatever, that you pick my side. Because clearly, my brother Gabriel doesn't know what he's talking about.
I have to disagree. I just chose. My problem is that beginning of the season predictions on week one, and week one is the hardest video to it's the hardest video or the hardest game to try to predict. But I think I was not alone when I said Shane Bowen being the defensive coordinator was like not good because he was calling the plays the year before. Remember when we had like 16 sacks or 19 sacks in the whole season? It was like almost. Actually, I think we had broke a record. That was the lowest amount of sacks any playoff team had ever gotten. So, like, our defense was, like, historic. Remember, we had a literal historically bad third down defense the year Shane Bowen was talking about.
I would say this. That one, yeah, that's a dark horse there. But the Todd Downing, I remember when we got him, like, this guy was bad in Oakland at the time, so why in the heck do I think he's going to be good in Tennessee? I remember saying that. And he was just as bad, if not worse than I expected.
Yeah. Well, I will be honest. I never was happy about it. I was just not as angry about it as Shane Bowen. But anyways, silly me. All right, so let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Tennessee Titans decided to shock the world and give the axe to old Jon Robinson. And at first, of course, shock. Shock was the first emotion that I had. But the more I started thinking about it, I stopped humanizing it. Like I stopped thinking about Jay Robinson as a person. I started thinking about his body of work in the last 2 or 3 years. And I started to feel a whole lot better about it, but it's still a risky move. And I'll tell you why I think it's risky after I let you kind of say a couple things.
Yeah, first of all, I did not expect it, and I don't think there's a Titan fan that expected it because, most of the time when you do something like this, it's at the end of the season. So just file them in the middle of the season like this. And not just that, but, a team that's winning, you got to win, winning the division, you got a winning record. But, I mean, it kind of makes sense, I guess, in the sense that a GM is always about the future instead of the now most of the time. So you think about it. If they already made up their mind they want a new GM, they might as well get him in now so he can be looking at the draft and whatever, So that makes a little more sense, I guess, to find a coach in the middle of the season that's 7-5. So I guess that makes sense. But still, I would say Jon Robinson has kind of been messing up the last couple of years. And last video we made, I was saying that he's to blame for this. A lot of our problems with not having the talent that we need. But the only problem is he's not a terrible GM. He's average to good, some people would say. So the chancy part is that we could easily get a GM that's worse than him. You know what I mean? So we got to make sure we get the right guy in there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about the risky part. Like if I were doing a power rankings, I'll be honest, I don't like no other teams' general managers like I do maybe their head coach or their personnel. But like if I were doing like a power ranking of GMs, I would put Jon Robinson about 10 to 12, maybe 12. And here's what the issue with that is. That means you could get a way better GM, pairing that with Vrabel. We could be unstoppable for the next 10 years or elite Super Bowl window, whatever you want to say. But then you also stop and think, he's like number 12. You could get way worse.
Yes, that's the first thing that popped in my mind.
So I'm like, we could get way worse, easily get way worse. But here's where I came at I don't want to say a piece because it sounds very dramatic when I say that, but when I start feeling a piece about it, is I'm looking at our roster. I know we're hurt. But like last week, after Traylon Burks goes down, we have Robert Woods, Nick Westbrook-Akina, an undrafted free agent from a couple of years ago, and CJ Board.
Yep.
That's our only 3 wide receivers we had after Traylon Burks went down. I'm like, who is this?
Yeah.
David Long goes down. I'm looking at Dylan Cole, Monty Rice, who's basically a rookie still, which some people think him in the 3rd round was a bit of a reach for last year. And Joe Schobert, I think is what his name was, just some journeyman linebacker who's never had like a long-term starting in the league. And I'm just like, who are these people? I'm looking at, Fulton going down. We have a rookie Trey Avery. We have, Greg Maben. And then, of course, Josh Kalu's gotten so much playing time this year. I know we're hurt, but I'm starting looking at people. I'm like, who are these people? And even though I love some of the things Jon Robinson's done over the years, I'm just thinking there are a lot of absolute no-name people. A roster looks bad, and I think who's to blame for a roster looking bad is the general manager.
Yeah, I agree that way. Yes, I agree, and I think it's fair to say, and I think most Titan fans would say, that it's been a downward slide for Jon Robinson. Like, he did a lot of good things. Actually, a lot of people, I think, would consider him as a top GM in his first several years. But I just feel like it's been a gradual go down, especially the last couple off seasons. He's been missing, whiffing, and a little more. Because at first he was just wheeling and dealing. He was doing these trades. He was doing all this stuff that was working well. But then he started missing a lot. And so that's why I guess we gave him the boot. Me personally, I thought we was going to give him one more off season. No, to try to redeem himself, and that's what I expected. But I guess we said no. The only thing that scares me is I hope this is not a Mike Vrabel move, and I'm hoping that this doesn't mean he gets too much power. I already saw something saying that he's going to get a lot of power to make these decisions and stuff. I hate that. I hate that so much. A coach needs to coach, and a GM needs to GM. So I think if that's what's going to happen, we're about to become a dumpster fire real fast if we think Mike Vrabel can GM and coach. And I'm hoping that's not what's going to happen, because then that would be a nightmare.
Well, I will say there was a lot of people saying that this was a Mike Vrabel power move, and some people were even speculating that he walked right up to Amy's desk and was just like, choose either me or J-Rob right now, boom. But reports have come out that that's not true. Vrabel said he was, basically Amy had let him know, just the same way he had to let the team know, that she just walked over and said, BT Dubs, just fired the GM. So he didn't have any play in it. He didn't have any heads up about it. So hopefully that is true.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, but he has been making subtle jabs about J-Rob over the years.
He has.
Because somebody had said, have you thought, is this sustainable, running Henry this many times? And Vrabel apparently said, he said, of course we're going to have to keep running the ball. Who the bleepity bleep are we going to throw it to, is what he said. When you say something like that, that means there's no good options to throw the ball. Which, true. Again, CJ Board, Nick Westbrook-Akina, Robert Woods is your only 3 active receivers after Burks goes down. That's a good question. But like I can remember against the Chiefs this year, and again, injuries are injuries, whatever. But against the Chiefs, we had 4 active wide receivers. We have Robert Woods, who I still say sucks this year. It's horrible this year. But we got Robert Woods, Nick Westbrook-Akina, Chris Conley, straight off the Chiefs practice squad, and everybody's favorite. What is that guy? Oh, Cody Hollister. I'm like, these aren't wide receivers in the NFL. What are we looking at? So, I don't know. So, we'll probably have more conversations after we get bounced in the first game of the playoffs about what it could mean, because I think it can mean a lot for people like Tannehill, Malik Willis. Almost all GMs love to have their guy at quarterback. So there's a lot of conversations we can have about that, but the fact that we're how many minutes in? This is 19 minutes in. No, that's how long our video call's been going, but we're almost 10 minutes into our recording. Haven't even said the Jaguars' name. So we're going to go ahead and turn the page real quick. Yeah. And we're going to go to the Jaguars, who I'm going to go real quick over the people who are out, questionable, and all that. And as usual, our out list is a nice long list of people who are out. Danico Autry, we're going to start calling him Danico Autry. Anyways, Danico Autry is out again, but I'm still happy he avoided a season-ending injury, because he's still not on IR. He never did go on IR, but this is what the third game he's missing.
And
I 4 games.
And I would say this though, since he's been out, our pass rush has been garbage.
Absolute garbage. And I'll talk more about that later.
Okay.
Trey Avery, he's decent for a rookie cornerback, but he's out. CJ Board, who I talked about earlier, he's out. Burks, he's out. Christian Fulton, he's out. David Long, he's out. Questionable is Hassan Haskins, who's such a small part of this team. I really don't care. Questionable is Jeffrey Simmons, but I think he's been questionable ever since he got the ankle injury. But he's been.
I kind of feel like he'll be on that questionable list for the rest of the year, to be honest.
Yeah, and then Tier Tart also questionable, which he's kind of been in and out of the lineup as well. So there's that for them.
That wasn't good, was it?
Nope, that was bad. Just starters. I'm looking at Autry, probably our best pass rusher. He might be better than Jeffrey Simmons. People love Jeff Simmons, which I understand. But Danico Autry, what he's done the last 2 years for us has been incredible. Well,
Simmons is supposed to be he was drafted to be a run-stopper more than pass rusher, though. I will say that. And I will say this, and I like that he's fighting through it. He hasn't been the same since the ankle injury. I would definitely say that.
He's gotten 1 sack, and it was like the last drive against the Packers. The only sack he's even gotten since his ankle injury. When he started off the season, I think with like 2 or something, first game. But anyways, and this makes me jealous. I don't know what we do to the turf and the Titans practice facility or wherever we play or what. Here's the Jaguars. Out, the linebacker, Chad Muma. Questionable, Trevor Lawrence. Safety, Andre Cisco. I guess that's how you pronounce it. And then wide receiver, Zay Jones. So you have 3 questionable, 1 out. And we have this long list of both. So the only thing we got going here is cornerbacks. They're going to be rough. We've got Fulton out. And like I said, Trey Avery's actually been a starting cornerback a decent amount of this season, considering, like, at least for a couple games. So having both those guys out, I guess that means we're going to have a heavy dose of Greg Nabin. Hopefully Elijah Molden's back. We'll have, I guess, Roger McCreary's still in there. But, my gosh, we'll probably play a lot of safeties. Because with that Andrew Adams, that guy we picked up, he can lay a nice pop on somebody when he needs to. But we'll have a lot of Andrew Adams, Amani Hooker, and Kevin Byard. So hopefully they can make something happen.
I'll say this: contract time for Fulton is going to be interesting. He's got the talent to be a number 1 cornerback, but if he plays 10 games, you're doing good.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, he's missed a lot of time. Now, I remember one of the time it wasn't his fault, but like his rookie year, I remember he got the old Rona, so he was gone for a couple games, and then he came back, and then he ended up getting put on the short-term IR. I remember at one point, which used to be 3 games, and he missed 3 games, and he came back. But he's just been in and out all of his seasons, all the seasons, and next year is the last year on his contract because he was drafted in 2020. So I agree. If he's wanting 15, 16, 17 million a year,
and that sucks because I would want us to get a number 1 cornerback for a while now because we haven't really had one, and he's got the talent for it. But you don't want to give someone, because that's what I like Hooker, but I don't want to give people money like that only plays every other game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Hooker's the same way. He's kind of been in and out of the lineup all year, and it's been his whole career, which is so frustrating. Anyway. All right. So I guess the only other injury that I think would be significant is Trevor Lawrence, because I'll tell you right now, if old CJ Beathard, whatever that guy's name was, if he's their quarterback starting this game, they have that much of a chance of winning, basically. So we'll monitor it. Trevor Lawrence is saying he's going to play, but we'll have to see. But at least if nothing else, with a big toe injury like that, he is not going to be as elusive.
Yeah, he's true.
And of course, we know how we talked about last week how we deal with scrambling quarterbacks.
So real quick, Ryan Tannehill was not on that injury list?
Surprisingly, no, because he ended up
he looked bad last game, and I don't mean like his play, but I mean like both angles. He looked like he could barely walk around, to be honest.
Which is such a pity because before, I remember he was the only thing giving us first downs was him running it.
Yeah, he ran exactly.
Looked the fastest he's looked all year.
Which is sad. Our receivers are garbage, so we kind of need him to run. So if he can't run, and if the off the line's garbage, so if he can't run out of the pressure, we're in trouble. But anyway. Sure. Yeah. So
I've been jabbering a lot. So if you want to go ahead and kick off your first matchup you're watching, I say go on ahead.
So I got two obviously, but my number one would be I want to see the Jaguars has a slightly below rush defense. So I got to see Derrick Henry. There's certain people to blame here. I know the offline is not great, and I think that's what Gabriel leans towards more to blame. I think Derrick Henry is big time to blame. I think this guy is hitting the wall real fast. He doesn't break tackles. He looks slow to me. But with all that being said, is I can forgive you if you go out there and have a big game because I think our passing game is going to be pretty dead with no one to pass to. Tannehill can't move. Our offline, can't protect him. So Derrick Henry needs to put this on his shoulders and goes. And don't forget, he always has a big game against the Jaguars. I think that's where he's from, but he seems to love to go to Jacksonville and put a whooping on him. He loves to do that. He's always done that. So I'm looking for him to go out there. This rush defense is not great. Go out there and carry this team because I don't think our passing game, which our passing game has been actually better than our running game in the last 4 or 5 games. I don't think that's going to be true this week, sorry. So I think Derrick Henry, he needs to put this team on his shoulders and actually act like you're the best running back in the league. That'd be my first.
I agree with some of it. I disagree with other parts of it, as you can imagine. I'll be honest. I'll tell you, Derrick Henry does look like he's lost his step. He looks slower, and he's getting tackled too easily. But I still say, you said he hit a wall fast. I agree. The wall is his offensive line just going, he's getting pushed backwards. So I think, Henry's 20% to blame. I say 20% or 10% is probably predictable play calling with personnel. And then the other 70% is that offensive line defense.
Henry's been dealing with predictable play calling his whole career, honestly. And
he has. Back when we had, Taylor Lewan, Roger Saffold. Remember Taylor Lewan when he used to play football? But anyways, Taylor Lewan, Roger Saffold on the left side. Here's something I actually thought about as I was working this week. The biggest issue we're having with our run blocking game, there's literally merchandise made, I think by Bussin' with the Boys, maybe, that it's like hats and shirts that says run left. Because Taylor Lewan and Roger Saffold on the left side of the offensive line dominated players. So run left, that was the thing. They'd always say, just run the ball to the left. And that was a big thing, a big slogan. And Taylor Lewan, he's in and out, and he'll have his game where he gives up 5 sacks to Chandler Jones. But who would you rather have, Roger Saffold and Taylor Lewan, or Aaron Brewer and Dennis Daly?
Those two are the worst two we got, actually.
Yeah.
That needs to be addressed.
Another reason J-Rob got the axe, because that is just that's not acceptable.
Daly, he's not even a backup tackle, if you ask me. This guy sucks bad.
And we gave up a 5th-round pick for him.
And Vrabel had high praise for Brewer, but I don't see it. I don't think he's that very good.
Well, here's the thing, though. He technically never even complimented Aaron Brewer's ability. He just said he's tough. That's all he said. So it's not like he is playing lights out. He is moving people. He didn't say anything like that. He just said he's tough as a $2 steak. So, I mean, yeah, he's been tough. That's good. Great job. You suck. Anyways, funny thing is, I think we're gonna have to start sharing our matchups with each other before we start the video, because mine was have to get the run game going. Right. And even though they're more middle of the pack when it comes to run defense, the Jaguars are, I don't remember, is either the worst or the second worst tackling team in the league. Like, they miss the most tackles. So
that's good.
You're going against Jacksonville Jaguars, who you normally slaughter. They're the worst tacklers in the league. Go have a day. Because like you alluded to earlier, ever since Tannehill came back from his ankle injury, he threw for over 250 yards to beat the Broncos, who had the number 1 pass defense. He honestly, was the Packers next?
Yeah.
Yeah, he torched the Packers.
Yeah, he did.
Torched the Packers. I thought there was another game in there. Was there another game in there? Maybe there wasn't. No, there wasn't. There wasn't, because he threw for over 300 yards that game and a couple touchdowns. And then it was the next game against the Bengals. He threw for 296 yards. But if he would have gotten that last drive like he should have, he would have obviously, all he had to do is get 4 yards, and he would have gotten over 300 yards again. But we could pass way better than we could run against them. And then against the Eagles, we didn't move the ball hardly at all, except for the first half where we got 10 points, which is fine. But guess what? All that was done through passing. So we've only been able to pass the ball and not run the ball worth a lick since Tannehill's been back in the lineup. So we have to be able to run. We have to, because I don't think, especially with Burks out again, I do not see passing being sustainable. So
Yep.
Got to have more help from the run game. You want to go ahead and hit your next matchup?
Yeah, my next one is, and this, I wrote this down before I realized Fulton wasn't playing. So this is going to be tough, but I want to see it. They say when Trevor Lawrence, and I'm assuming he's playing, I think he will, but they say when he has big games, overall, he has 6 games with over 100 quarterback rating this year, and every time he does that, his receivers are always his number one threat. They have Ingram as a tight end, but he doesn't go there that often. I think he only has like 39 catches, something like that. But it's the receivers that Zay Jones, I'm forgetting the Christian Kirk, and when they get going, when they start having big games, that offense looks a lot better. They said, but if you shut the receivers down, that offense dies. But the thing is, our CBs are all banged up and stuff. Maybe our safeties can help, but I feel like if we could shut that down on the outside, and the running game is nothing to really talk about. Not to mention we have a good run defense. If we can at least make these receivers look average, I think they're not going to score many points at all. So I think I would like to see just CBs in general against the receivers in general, because that's what he always looks for when he has big games, is looking on the outside. I would like to see us shut him down, but like I said that before you told me if Bolton's out. That's not going to be good, but let's hope these safeties can help us.
Okay, I really thought you were about to take my other one again, but you didn't. You went a slightly different way. I said is what we have to do is we have to pressure the quarterback, because apparently all the different metrics and things you can measure when it comes to people handling the blitz, Trevor Lawrence is bottom 5 in all the categories, like passer rating, touchdown to pick ratio, yards per attempt, and just all of that, and picks and all that good stuff. Trevor Lawrence is like bottom 5 in every single category. So it sounds to me like if he just stands there all day with a nice clean pocket, he'll rip you to shreds. If you get pressure on him, he panics. Let's go ahead and say what
the problem with that is that I think maybe last 2, maybe even 3 weeks, our pass rush has been awful. I mean, just awful. And because Jalen Hurts, did he look good last week? Yes. But he didn't even hardly have to run for his life, because he would snap and just like, who do I want to throw to, and just pick us apart. One, because Demetri Autry's out. Jeffrey Simmons is not the same. And we don't have anyone stepping up basically right now. Our pass rush is terrible. And that's why I think our defense numbers in the next 5 weeks might be taking a dive, because you know how important pass rush is. And our CBs are getting banged up. So, yeah, that's a good one. Like to see this pass rush to get going, because, like you said, you pressure Trevor Lawrence, he doesn't do well. But the problem is, can we pressure him?
Yeah, and he make him make some errant throws. Kevin Byard, I don't think he's gotten a pick since week 1.
Yep, he has.
I think he's got 1, maybe 2 picks on a offsides where it's a free play.
Yeah.
So the quarterback just chucks it up and he just runs there and just snags it. I think it almost makes me feel like quarterbacks are just staying away from him, because that's just what he does over there. So he did drop a pick. I do remember him dropping his first pick, because I've never seen him get hit in the hands with a ball and not come down with it. It was weird to watch. But here's a little trivia for you. Do you know when the last time we got an interception was?
Against Commandos? Or was it after that?
It was after that, thankfully, because Commandos was like week 4. Thankfully, it's been since that. It was the Broncos.
Who got it?
It was that dude Terrence Mitchell. Where is he?
Oh, that's true. I forgot about him, and then 2, you're right. That was 4th and long, I think, and he threw it. It got tipped and he caught it.
That's correct. Where is he? He's not on the IR, is he?
I do not know.
Because he's not on the injury report, and I don't feel like he's played the last couple of weeks.
And that's
weird.
bad.
You
know you're desperate. You're like, we need Mitchell back.
Yeah. But it's rough. That's rough. But yeah, we got to get pressure on him, because we did not get any picks against the Packers. We didn't get any picks against the Bengals. We didn't get any picks against the Eagles. Here's another trivia for you. During the Mike Vrabel era, when was the last time we lost 3 games in a row?
I'm probably going to say his first year coaching.
Yeah, We had one only happened once. Only happened once, but I think it was the Bills, Ravens, and Rams. We had gotten beat by those three teams in a row in 2018. Since then, we have not lost 3 games in a row.
Which that's impressive, but I just feel like, right now, Jaguars are not a good team, and I'm not going to even say they're going to win for sure, but we're just banged up in the wrong positions and stuff. So I just feel like, if it could happen, it could be this week. And also, it's a division game. You never know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Again, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope not, because this is just one of those games we can't afford to lose this game. Well, here's the thing. They're what? 4-8. 4-8. If they win this game, they'll be 5-8, but then we'll drop down to 7-6.
I mean, I still think the division is well in hand.
I would agree, but then they play us again.
Yeah.
So if they were to beat us that time, they'd only be 1 game behind us.
But here's the thing.
We still got to play the Chargers and the Cowboys.
I think the Titans can lose any Sunday, if you really think about it. Like, any Sunday, our receiving game could be awful. And Derrick Henry, if he doesn't run for 100 yards, which he does a lot this year, our offense is quite capable of only scoring 10 points, and that would lose you a lot of games.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating because I stop and think. We beat the Raiders by 2 points, and they went for 2 to try to tie it at the end of the game. We beat the Commanders, but they threw a pick in the end zone. They had 4 plays to get 2 yards. So we were that close to losing that game as well. The Colts, we beat them by 9, but that was because of a pick 6, basically. And then we beat the Colts by 7. Was it 17-24, I think is what it was, the first time we beat them. So that was only a touchdown. Even the Texans, who we pretty much had our way with, 200 yards from Derrick Henry.
That was only a touchdown game.
Yeah, because they ended up scoring a touchdown at the very end and went to kick an onside kick, where if they would have got that, then they would have been able to go down there and tie it up. It was a long shot, but it ended up being a 7-point game. The only victory we've had this year where I felt really good about it most of the game, besides kind of the Texans, was the Packers. Yeah. We looked good. We looked really good. And also, that was the biggest winning margin we've had all year, only 10 points. That's kind of shameful in my opinion.
And then how Todd Downing celebrate? Get a DUI.
Yeah, nice work. Nice work.
Actually, dang it. That's real quick. I want to say that. Another reason about the Jon Robinson filing that just annoyed me a little bit. If the first person that needs to go is Todd Downing, the fact that this idiot still has a job is beyond me.
I agree. I think it's stupid.
He needs to go. And what I'm scared, though, is that Todd Downing is a Mike Vrabel guy, and Mike Vrabel guys stay around. And Jon Robinson wasn't a Mike Vrabel guy, and that's why he got the axe. So I'm just hoping, please don't be so prideful, because that's what Mike Malarkey did. Remember, he would not let his guys go either. So I'm hoping Vrabel doesn't turn like that. Yeah,
well, here's my thing, and I think this is why I hope Todd Downing gets the axe. But the reason a lot of people are saying that, like Jon Robinson got the axe now, is like you said earlier. If he's not going to be around next year, they can already start evaluating people who's already declared for the draft and everything else. They can start the whole visits and all the crap they need to start doing now. There's no reasons for Jon Robinson to be doing that if he's going to be getting the axe. But I think the reason he doesn't want to get rid of Todd Downing right now is with 5 games left of the season, I don't think he wants to get a whole new offensive coordinator. Should he? I absolutely think he should. Because I think what 5 games would give us a good taste to see if Tim Kelly could be our offensive coordinator next year. But yeah, so I think that's his reasoning for not giving him the X, because too late in the season to be changing
calls the play process. He's so bad.
I agree. I'm thinking if we have an offense that doesn't really score points, we haven't had 30 points all year.
That's bad.
That's so bad. We could against the Packers, because technically we were winning 27-17 and we had the ball on the 5-yard line, but still, it's a garbage offense. And I stop and think about 2020 with Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry. We were putting up 30 points every week. Yeah. It was the best offense I'd ever witnessed. Yeah, it was something. But
anyway, we got distracted though.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. I will say one more thing I'll talk about before we get to our best case, worst case scenario portion of the show. Racey McMath He's on his designated return window, so they activate him off of that. So they have 3 weeks to make a decision to officially end his season or activate him to the roster. We had to shoot this video Saturday morning, so we don't know for sure if he's going to go or not. But by the time you see this video, you'll already know whether or not he's playing or not. I hope he does. I'm trying to tamper my expectations down, but I do know all off season long, he was just a deep threat. The guy ran a 4.39. He's big, raw. He's raw, but now he's been coached for over a year by the coaching staff here. So, he'll be better than Cody Hollister. Could be better than Nick Westbrook-Akina, but I think right now Westbrook-Akina is more reliable. But like he has a chance to make somewhat of an impact. If nothing else, just go deep, take a cornerback and a safety with you. You know what I mean? Open up something underneath. Okay. You got anything you want to say before we hop right into our best case, worst case scenario?
Nah, let's just jump to it.
Okay. Best case. Do you think one of us should do best? We both do best and we both do worst, or should one person just shoot the breeze on the best and the worst and then turn it over to the next? What do you think's better?
Let's just do that.
Okay. So best case. Best case scenario, Titans are historically good in the Mike Vrabel era at when they have a chip on their shoulder, when they're doubted, that's when they come out swinging. It's when they start getting all the quote-unquote respect of the league that they always –
That's true.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. So with a week where they just lost Jon Robinson, because think about it, every single player on that team was either traded for, signed, or drafted by Jon Robinson. So by Amy Adams Strunk firing him, these people can be like, she thinks we are not good enough. Because the reason we're here playing is because Jon Robinson drafted, signed us, extended us, whatever. So she thinks we're not playing good enough. So I have to prove to this new GM, whoever it may be, that I'm worth keeping. So I could very well, best case scenario, see the Titans come out here just crazy. I could see them just Derrick Henry running hard, Derrick Henry running heavy. Tannehill, I don't know who he's throwing the ball to, so I don't know about the passing game.
Yeah.
But like I could see this defense just coming here with a chip on their shoulder. They're mad that they just let the Eagles drop 35 points on them. And I could see this turning out to be like a 27-13, 27-10 kind of game where we just smack them in the mouth, where we dominate time possession, and that be that. That is my best case scenario. I can't make I wanted to say 30 to like 13 or something, but I can't see us get 30 points because I haven't done that since last year. So that's rough. So that would be my best case scenario. Worst case scenario is it does the opposite. Like this team really loved Jon Robinson. Nobody's happy he's gone. Besides maybe Vrabel, but I don't even know if that's true. But I think it's possible that we just come out down in the dumps. We have no one to throw the ball to. Henry still can't get going. The offense gets bottled up. We drop about 17 points. That's it. That's kind of sadly our norm, 17-24, like somewhere in there is what we usually do. We only drop 17 points. We're beating the Jaguars basically the whole game, but at the very end, we're 17, they're 13. They have a minute and a half, and then these just garbage cornerbacks are just dropping way too far back, and they just walk all the way down the field, get a touchdown with 22 seconds left. We get beat 20-17. I don't see how they could blow us out. I really don't see how they could blow us out, but that would be my worst case scenario.
Yeah, that sounds like that could happen. And in my best, I'll just jump my best case scenario is that Derrick Henry again feels the fire in his belly that this Jaguars, he owns them. He always has a lot of found. Are we in Jacksonville or Nashville? Do you know?
Nashville.
Nashville. We won't have family though. But either way, he usually still cooks them pretty good. So Derrick Henry gets motivated. He'll go out there and give us 150 yards, which he hasn't done in a very, very long time. And he carries this team, and and hopefully on defense we get enough pressure or Trevor Lawrence can't carve us up, and we can win that game like that. Because again, like you said, I can't even say best case scenario that this passing game is going to get going because I have zero faith that that's going to happen. So Derrick Henry does basically do for the Texans game. You remember, he's basically at 200 yards, right? He just carried us with Malik Willis because our passing game was dead that week. So maybe Derrick Henry can do that again. We get enough pressure on Trevor Lawrence, and our cornerbacks can be decent, and we can win that way. Do you do scores on the best in case worst case scenario?
You don't have to. You don't have to.
The worst case scenario is almost like the opposite. Though our offense, Derrick Henry rushes for 40 yards, Tannehill throws for 120 yards, receivers are dropping because Robert Woods, he'll drop so much. That guy. I don't know who I want gone more, Todd Downing or Robert Woods. Probably Todd Downing, but still, they both. They need to go. Pathetic. Those two needs to go. But anyway, yeah, so our receivers are dropping. Tannehill can't move. He's getting sacked. Henry's getting stuffed at the line. Either his fault or off the line. So we just get nothing going on offense. And like you said, I don't think the Jags have what it takes to blow us out. But, like you said, that last drive, for some reason, which we do sometimes, our CBs are just playing 10, 15 yards back. So Trevor Lawrence is just hitting the comeback calls, was going down, or they're going down, kick the field goal, or score a touchdown, whatever they need to do in the last second, and we lose. And sadly, that's my worst case scenario. But I can see that happening.
I could very easily see it happening. Plus, beating the Packers on Thursday night back in November feels like so long ago. That was the last time we won. That was the last time we won. So, at this point, it looks like we've been going for about 35-ish minutes or so. Because it says 37, but we talked a couple minutes and got our cameras going and everything rolling. So I don't know the exact time. So I guess we'll go ahead and hop right on into our official score prediction.
All right. Okay. No, I got it. Let me say it. Oh.
Go ahead.
I think Titans win 17-13. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. It has to be, because I think if the Jaguars score a lot of points, I think we lose, because I don't think we'll score a lot of points. But I don't think they will. So I'm going to say it's a low-scoring game, 17-13. Tannehill doesn't get much going. We don't run the ball well, but we put enough 2 drives together or something that we score a touchdown here or a field goal there. We manage to get 17 points. They don't get much, and we win 17-13.
Okay, I like it. My official prediction, I'm going to say we win 24-16, where technically we beat them by 8 points, where I feel like we kind of run the table the whole time, but they do get the ball at the end with like a minute left maybe, and I'm like, they're 8 points behind, so they could get a touchdown or the extra 2 to tie it. I guess that'd be the same, basically the same as the Raiders.
And Chiefs.
The Raiders did get the touchdown and didn't get the extra 2.
Yeah. Well, we was up by 8 with the Chiefs for a long time, but they did get the touchdown, and then they did get the 2, and then they went in overtime.
True. Yeah, I forgot that was just worst case scenario. I can't believe that happened.
Yeah.
But anyways, because we had no business being in that game with Malik Willis. But
no business, but then they got to a point where you're like, oh, you should have won that. You know what I mean? That's what I always said. Like before the game, like you have no business beating the Chiefs. But then when you're up by 8 points for almost the whole second half, you got to win that. So It was,
yeah. Which I guess I will say one thing we referenced earlier, how we only barely beat this team, we only barely beat that. You can also say it in the opposite way that we could have, with the way the game went, we should have beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You think about the fact that we got beat by 1 point against the Giants because they decided to go for extra 2 and win instead of go for 1 and tie, and it actually paid off.
But a lot of teams have been doing that, like this year, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. But I've seen several teams do that. They just go for 2. I'm like, okay, I guess he didn't want overtime.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe it's because overtime is so short now that there's a lot more. We got 2 ties and a lot of games that came close to being ties.
Yeah. I guess the last one though would be the fact that we barely got beat by the Bengals, and if they wouldn't have pushed or hit the long snapper's head, we would have had plenty of time. Now, would we have made it? Probably not. But at the same time, Tannehill had already thrown for 296 yards, so maybe. So, anyways, I guess
you got Titans win 24-16. I got Titans win 17-13.
So we'll see. We'll see who's closer to being right. Hopefully, we do get the dub.
Yeah.
We need the dub so badly.
We need it. We need it.
By the way, in closing, I haven't fact checked people, but apparently, all we need is any combination of 2 wins from us, 2 loses from the Colts, or 1 of each to clinch playoffs already, the division. Now, we can't clinch it this week because Colts are on their bye. But, like, if we win this week and then lose out, as long as the Colts lose 1 more game, we'll.
Right. Well, yeah. The division,
Okay.
it would take. What?
Go ahead.
It'll take talent for us to blow this division. It really will.
It would, but 7-5 looks a lot different than 7-3. So
It does.
this is a game. Now we could get beat by the Chargers next week. So we could, if we lose this game, we could easily go 7-7. And then if that happens, sadly, the division's wide open. But anyways, I guess we'll go ahead and end it because I think we're approaching 40 minutes. So we'll go ahead and end this video. So good luck, tighten up. Let's hope for the best. Peace.